Namo Shakya Munaye Buddhaya. Dear respected Thai, dear Venerable teachers, dear friends from everywhere in the world being present here today. I remember the first time I came here, it was maybe 1/4 of the century ago, 2001, together with a few bhikshus from the south of Vietnam. And it was the first time we came here. It was not like arrived. In Vietnamese, it's done. Done is different than về. Done is somewhere you just stop by, you come. But về means it's the place where you actually feel very close, and it's become part of you. It becomes part of your being. And so, in my view, I feel that all of you here, you don't say the word đến làng. You don't come that you go to Plum Village, but you say that you are returning to Plum Village. So it carries in itself a very deep meaning. So this is not an ordinary home that you come back, but it's also carry a spiritual meaning in there, a spiritual home where people can come back, and it can help us to to grow a pair of wings so that we can fly very high. And it is the reality for our friends who come here, and it's even more so for the monastics. Wherever you were born, whichever culture, background you come from, whatever level of education you have, it's not an important thing. Once you become a monastic and you receive the precepts from Thai, Dharma body from Thai, and the Thai and the Sangha help you to grow a pair of wings so that you can fly very high. And so the thing is, whether you can fly or not, that is up to you. It's up to your own practice and up to your aspiration. Then you can fly high to which kind of high of the sky. If you put the pair of the cross, then you will have the view of the cross, and you can just see the cascades of that animals. But if you put another pair of wings, then like a phoenix, then you can fly high and you will land on another kind of tree. So this is the immense skies that you can fly with the pair of the eagles. And when you become an eagle, you don't really need to prove that you're an eagle, but the way you behave, the way you speak, the way you are, will show that you are an eagle. You no longer get caught in wrong and right, and you are no longer touched and get caught by the ordinary things. If you are the eagle, then you are not kind of trying to fight for food with others, with other birds, like the crows, a flock of crows. Maybe they can fight for food among themselves, but the eagle would be flying very high to a certain height that other birds cannot follow them and will have to be left behind. So what I'd like to share here, dear Venerable monks and nuns, dear friends, this is your spiritual home. You come here and you receive the Dharma, the Buddha Dharma. You receive Thai teachings transmitted to you so that you can apply in your daily life, and you can grow a pair of wings that you can fly high as the eagle. That is up to you, up to each of us. So from here, I would like to share my gratitude to Thai personally, to Thai and to the Plum Village community. About roughly 25 years ago, 2001, when I first came here, the first time I got into the plane to fly to here, a brother sitting next to me told me, this time we are going to France, you know. And so I didn't say anything. I just kept silent and recited the name of Avalokiteshvara because it wasn't simple for me to take that trip. The first time to go abroad, 2001, you go abroad, it was not a simple thing. Sometimes you get onto the plane and then there's some reasons you could be invited to get off the flight. And it was a normal thing at that time. So I said to my brother, I said, please sit still and just wait until the flight kind of departed, because when the flight is still on the ground, we're not sure at all. So you can imagine the Vietnamese monks, whether they live in Saigon or wherever. About 25 years ago, we were very simple monks. We were very outdated. We were not modern at all, especially the mountain. We live like a mountain. So we were very simple. We were like from the countryside. We didn't know much. And it was like when we were a bird without wings. So we are very grateful to Sister Chân Khong. She went to Deer Park 2004, and she said that maybe you should stay in the US. And I said some brothers have the capacity and could stay in the US and they could contribute to Thai career and contribute to the Buddha's teachings and so on. But most of us were nong tang, means farming monks. We were from the mountain. Maybe I couldn't do much. And then Sister Chân Khong said, dear Thai, dear brother, when people have enough merit to become the disciple of the Buddha for a long time, you don't really need to do much. You just need to stay, and our teacher Thai and the Sangha will help you to grow a pair of wings, and you can fly high up to your liking. And so I was naive enough to accept that invitation and stay until now. So I was very kind of thinking wherever we live, it's like in a dream. We stopped by here to live for a while, and then we moved to another place. Like in the poet Phuoc said, we just come to this world to stay for a while, and then we will go, like a temporary stay. 25 years went by like a flick. So I never thought I would stay somewhere too long, but I like fun, so okay, I stay, no problem. So 20 years went by. Many people said, you get the U.S. citizenship. And I just smiled. I said, oh, it's just a temporary place. Even in this world, no culture, no place, nowhere that I should get attached for too long. Because after a few years, this body will return to dust. So never mind about citizenship. Vietnamese citizenship is already a trouble. Why I have to have another citizenship? So, dear brothers and sisters, sharing with you that I can share with you that my life, I just don't have any notion about getting attached to somewhere very long, or growing wings to become a phoenix or something. I was just a sparrow. But I listened to the Deepak Monastery brothers and sisters. One day I went to apply for citizenship in the US. And when Thầy was still around, and Thầy told me to come to Plum Village, he said Plum Village now is very beautiful. More than a decade before that, I had a dream to come back to Plum Village, where I landed my foot the first time and really admire and enjoy the beauties of the countryside here. And the south of Vietnam is no longer having the peaceful kind of essence like here. So I walked from the upper Hamlet to lower Hamlet on foot, and I saw the field, the vineyard, and so on. And I felt like I came back to the folk tales of France long time ago. Like it doesn't change so much in the countryside here in the south of France, when the vineyards still around, and still the wine chateaus are still around, and makes me feel like I can feel the essence of folk stories, French folk stories. So in my mind, I really wish to come back to the countryside of France to visit. But I thought with the Vietnamese citizen going back and forth from US to here is too complicated. So I hesitated until last year I started to apply for US citizenship, to have to sit for an exam. It was a fun experience, because about 10 years ago I applied for citizenship, but I had to learn English and it was just too much, too tiring. So I let it go. And I told the immigration department that I was not ready. I would sit for it later, and I let it go. We spent a bit of money from the monastery. The second time I was naive enough to stand for it again, to go for the exam, and hope, with the hope that I could sit for it in Vietnamese. And in my life as a monk until up to now, it's for the first time I had an exam. I learned a lot, but I never had an exam. Everybody has their own conditions, their own karma. I never had any degree from primary school to high school to the University of Buddhism. I study and so on, but looking back and forth, I never had a degree in my pocket. So it's not that I am stubborn, I don't want to sit for exam, but conditions are funny, because usually some conditions will happen and push me out of the exam. I couldn't sit for exam. I study everything, I learn everything like anybody else, and it's the only time I sit for exam in my more than 7 years of my age. It is citizenship exam. But Plum Village disciples have a very poetic kind of way of life. I went into the exam room. Everybody was very tense, but Brother Phap Dung and myself and another sibling, we were very relaxing, like drinking tea at home. We brought tea, a tea set, and we were enjoying tea, all sufficient. We were all equipped. We had some tea in there. It was like just in the morning in the park, no difference. And we look at people and they look so tense. When they left, they look very miserable. But we were all just smiling, passing or not, never mind, no worries. If I got the citizenship, it's great. Otherwise, I've been in the US for many years anyway. Nearly 1/4 of my life, no problem. So we were so free and relaxed. And fortunate thing was Brother Phap Dung was really good. He was very friendly with the staff in the immigration department. He was saying, sitting for the exam, we fill up the form in English, but we would sit for the exam in Vietnamese. But the staff in the Department of Immigration, they are smart. And they said, if you fill up the form in English, then you have to reply in English. And so they selected the questions for me. They would choose the questions so that I can answer partly in English, like the anthem, the title of the anthem of America. And somebody in the Congress, the highest in Congress, what is the name? And somebody is in the High Court. So Thầy Phap Dung was not really familiar with those terms. He was translating for me. So it was just funny and simple like that. And the person who was the examiner, they said we would ask you 6 questions. If you reply correctly, then no more. So if you reply 6 correctly, then you pass. And 4 questions I replied in English because it's all the names. And then the brothers told me prior to that, you don't need to study at all. You stay in the US for so long, you will pass anyway. So I passed the exam, and the first thing came up to my mind is I really owe this country. I owe Thai something. Thai told me before that I should go back to France one time because Plum Village now is very beautiful. So I said to him in myself, okay, I will go to Plum Village. So in the end, I found out that the great ceremony, wherever it's organized, I will go there in Thailand or in France. So in the end, it's in France. So I was coming to France, and it's so miraculous conditions. And what was most memorable is what Sister Chân Không said, that we all can apply it for the Vietnamese brothers and sisters, or any other brothers and sisters, or lay friends, Dharma teachers, lay or monastic alike. It can be applicable for anybody. The sentence is Thầy and the Sangha will help you to grow a pair of wings so that you can fly to an immense space. And if our capacity, our own ability to study, to practice and put things into practice is filled up your body and mind, then you will be the eagle. Eagle can fly very high. This is the very first time I recount this story to you, so that you can see that in this life, very rarely people have opportunity like us. We have wonderful conditions that we receive the love, compassion, and nourishment from Thầy. And Thầy gave birth to all of us. The Sangha gave birth to us. And if you remember this, you keep this in mind, you can see that we have the responsibility to reply, to respond to this, the gratitude, mm, the gratitude to our parents to give birth to us, but the person who gave us life in the Dharma and gave us the wisdom, help us to be in touch with the Buddha Dharma, and help us to have happiness, help us to see that our life is not drifting away in loneliness anymore. We live in the Dharma, we fill up our body and mind with the joy in the Dharma, and we enhance our quality of life to make it really precious, and our mind of service is flying high, and realize our awakening career. This is a gift. So I remind this so that we can remember our teacher who gave us a hand to bring us to the present moment, which is Thầy. And we treasure that. We are in gratitude, but we don't have to do anything. We just need to stay and nourish ourselves and realize the career of practice of compassion and understanding, and bring it into our daily life. This is the first thing. The first time I share with you something about myself, to help you to see, to have the view about Plum Village. Whenever we call we say the word về, meaning coming back, to return, going back to Plum Village, về sống thượng, going to Plum Village, going back to Plum Village, returning to Plum Village, Upper Hamlet or New Hamlet. This is where we stay for in our life, our spiritual life, maybe in this life and in countless lifetime in the future. And we make an aspiration to stay with the Sangha, to be very in strong bond with the Sangha. We have younger ones here. You may not know the elder brothers and sisters. You have never met them before. So I would like to share with you this. It has a very deep meaning and very touching like that. The second thing I think I'd like to share with you is the time that I came back to Plum Village. This time I have a lot of admiration and respect to the way the brothers and sisters are living and organizing. Of course, the perfection of organizing or completing a great ceremony like this, we thought there would be done by Venerable monks and nuns who are very, very high in the rank of the monastic level, but it's organized and carried out by the young monastics. And sometimes you think, what's the big deal about organizing a great ceremony or transmitting the lamps to the monastic and lay people? But if you are observing, and if you know enough, you will observe things happen in other temples, in other traditions, and you will see that Plum Village has been regarded as one of um, the leading figures in doing things and practicing, organizing things, because it carry the spiritual energy, and it's got a very it received a very, very powerful support from the whole Mahasangha, with the lay people and with all the monastics coming from everywhere. If we compare with other great ceremonies in elsewhere, actually mostly they are done with a lot of formality, and it's very complicated and time consuming, but it doesn't really carry the quality of spirituality and doesn't have a depth. It doesn't really create a strong faith and solid in the ordinees who receive the precepts. And this time it shows the strength and the maturity of the Plum Village Sangha, and we can see that um, each ordinary who received the lamp transmission, you listen to, you receive the introductions and the teachings from the Dharma teachers in Plum Village who are transmitting the lamps on behalf of the Sangha. You can see that it's very meaningful. I listen very carefully to their teaching, and I listen to the insight gathas from the Dharma teachers to be. They all carry the spiritual meaning, very deep meaning, and what Thầy has transmitted to us. So Thai's career of spreading the Dharma in the West actually has spreading out to very far away, to different cultures and different lands that are very different with the Vietnamese culture. And if there's a teacher who is capable doing such wonderful thing and grand thing like that, to plant the seeds in the Western mentality, that is not an easy thing to do. Many venerables who have a big dream from China, from different places, they wanted to do the same thing. They wanted to sow the seed and plant a tree of Buddhism in the West, but they're not able to do it. And there are many conditions. Maybe they are not able to recognize or to realize that it's not that you just bring your own Buddhism exactly as where you are and you bring it to the West and apply it in the West. And the Western people could receive it exactly as where it comes from. So in general, Buddhism, if you look into the organization aspect, we cannot compare to that in Christianity. In the church, they do it really wonderfully well. If we talk about the chanting, we adopted from the royal kind of music, and we have it in Vietnamese. How can we compare to the music in the church? And they use the piano. It is not just from the piano. They are able to make it into a kind of grand. It's just like a wonderful light from the heaven. So in that kind of sense, we cannot really bring exactly the same thing like that to the West. And then the third thing is, in terms of finance, when we share this out, it's a little bit of a shame, but we are the beggars. We are asking for donations. We don't have a kind of stable source of finance to carry out our teaching in the West. If you can measure that against what the church is doing in the Catholic tradition, they are here for thousands of years. They have been building it into like a culture to develop it like the whole society in the West. Whether you believe in God or not, he's really when somebody became a president, you still have to put your hand on the Bible to make your affirmation. So Catholic becomes the culture in the West, and Buddhism is very young and very new here in the West. So if we are not able to see these things, you are not able to bring Buddhism here to the West. Only one aspect that we can build a solid foundation here, so that our Western friends can come. It is the teaching, the Buddhist teachings. But if the Buddhist teachings have been transmitted from the past spiritual teachers, or even the contemporary teachers, they only use it in a very old way of expressing, in a very old way of teachings. And so it's very difficult for people to receive. So when we look at these things, we think that it's just the content of Buddhism that we can bring to the West. And the thing is how we can bring it as like an ingredient, very West, very Eastern, and we bring it and cook here. To make a food in the West, it is something else. So if the Buddhism has enough the depth, can we bring the depth of it here and the organization, so that the Sangha can be a tight kind of body, and we can bring in the young people and suitable for cultural Western society. So you can see that it is not easy to find a teacher who is able to bring Buddhism to the West like Thầy has been able to do. If you just look at the development horizon, you can look at the title of books. In English, you will not find anybody who has the number of books, the Buddhist teachings like Thầy. So Thầy has been able to bring that into the mainstream of the cultural aspect in here. And we will see that sometimes in the high school in the US, they use some paragraphs in the book of Pathway Cloud in the school. So when we look back, we will see that Thai's career of teachings here. Of course, there's a lot of support from the Buddha, the spiritual ancestors, and the Sangha, and everybody else, plus his strong aspirations to spread the teachings. Of course, without those things, Thai wouldn't be able to make a kind of leaping step like that, to bring the Buddhism to many countries. People coming from different countries to join the retreats and learn the teachings and so on. So Thai doesn't put a lot of emphasis on organization. He doesn't force the people who come to learn to follow a strict rules. They could bring it home to apply that in their own life, in daily life, to help their life different, to make it more beautiful, to have happiness in themselves, in their future generation, and offer that to the society. That is enough for Thai. Thai doesn't make them to become Buddhists. And with that kind of broad view, with a compassionate heart like that, and even the teachings are still the same, but he renewed that to become a gift to our Western friends. And the result is, for many countries, US, Australia, everywhere, they can come to Plum Village and see Plum Village as a place for them to come back. And that relates to our daily life. most of us come to Plum Village and become Thai disciples. We feel it's very normal, but it is not normal at all. It's not ordinary at all. Without such a teacher, without such an influence, we wouldn't be here. And you can see a very small thing, and you can see that you are very fortunate, like you are a very rich person, maybe the richest person in Vietnam. You pay and you travel to France. Mostly you would go to Paris. You would sit on the boat along the Seine River. You wouldn't go to the south of France. You wouldn't have the ability to walk on foot and enjoy the peace like you walk in the pages of folk stories, ancient folk stories, and you wouldn't be able to join other siblings to bring the Dharma, to share with other people, to help them to generate joy and make their life meaningful like right now. So without a teacher like Thầy, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be like we are today. And nearly 25 years already go by. Looking back to the elder brothers and sisters, I see that you have matured a lot. Apart from helping to lead a great ceremony like that, you are in the way you talk, the way you speak, the way you are, the way you have a wonderful kind of humanity. And sometimes we just think that you are just there. You are the refuge, not only for the monastics, Sangha, but you are the refuge for many people who come to take refuge in the Plum Village Sangha. And I think you are really worth it to be Thai's disciples. So that's what I have perceived during the past days that I've been in the great ceremony time. So we can look back and appreciate and maybe feel very pleased about what we have been able to do so far. So dear Sangha, I don't know until what time do we have? How much time do we have? Infinite time. That's what the brother Phuoc said. Dear brothers, sisters, dear friends, in Deer Park we only have 45 minutes for a Dharma talk. Brother Phuoc said that when our teacher Thầy, when he was inspired, he could went forever. And Brother Venerable Phuoc said, I don't have the inexhaustible wealth to share with you indefinitely. Of course, I don't want to let you down. I will try my best. And the third thing I like to share with you, as we do until today, we have a very powerful and tight knit and beautiful Sangha like this. It's not simple. The first thing is Thầy works to build. Without this foundation, we wouldn't be able to develop like the upper Hamlet, New Hamlet or lower Hamlet. Our life would be very poor and difficult. Right now, earning for a living is not easy, very difficult. In Deer Park Monastery, it's the same. We sometimes they left the Sangha after 20 years to go out there and learn and earn a living. Is very difficult and encounter a a life that is very kind of without support, without the practice. The only thing is to earn a living day by day and going up and down, but maybe waiting for what? Waiting for the old age and waiting for the death coming. So without the foundation built by our teacher Thai, we wouldn't have this today. But the second foundation, which is very important, is the foundation built by ourselves. Because if we don't have the inner strength, regardless of Thai and the Sangha putting a pair of wings to us, then we wouldn't be able to fly anyway. A pair of wings of the angel, it's just for the decoration. So I would like to share with you that the sustainable development in our practicing life is very important, and it's based on many elements. The first element is, if we want to have a strong foundation to go forward, we need to have a bodhicitta which is strong and powerful enough. And we don't just practice like today we practice and tomorrow we feel bored. What we want to say here is, once we make a vow to become a monastic, we want to entrust our body and mind and offer it as a gift to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And according to the Zen master in China, I forgot the name. We just call him Hư Vân for now. He said 30 years, 50 years living in the temple, it doesn't mean that it's enough. It doesn't mean anything for a monastic. Once you want to aspire to become a monastic, you live with the Dharma, you die with the Dharma, and your ashes will be with the Dharma, meaning your ashes will be in the temple. And if you become a ghost, you will become a ghost in the Dharma, which is in the monastery. You don't go out of the monastery. So great masters who were really having great strength of practice, they are like that. They are really determined. They don't have any other ways, just one way, which is the way of being a monastic and practice. Whether that or die, they don't go back. And monastic, regardless bhikshu or bhikshunis, it's the same. And if we base our bodhicitta on this foundation, we have no reason to go backward. There is nothing in the world that can lure us, can tempt us. And things in the life, in our practicing life, some small disharmony or some little conflicts will not touch us, because our bodhicitta, our aspiration is great, like an eagle flying above there. It will not be affected by small things happening daily. In the world, people are really sick of up and downs and wrong and right and so on. We are really tired of little conflicts and so on. So we will deal with them lightly. It's not because of any reasons that we will go backward. Maybe some difficulties, little conflicts, some displeasures. But all of these things are not because of the surrounding environment, but it's because our own mind. Because in our mind we do have conflicts and displeasure, displeasing. Then you look around and nothing can please you. Everything is in conflict. So whenever we have some sadness or some things inside of us, instead of looking out to see who's causing us that kind of uncomfortable feeling or difficulty, we look inside and we tell ourselves we should be the person who's smiling and who is easy going, then the whole world will be smiling and going easy going to us. If we are carrying a very heavy energy, then of course everything else will be heavy and in heavy energy. And second thing is the bodhicitta is not something that we can aspire one time. It needs nourishment day by day, and the nourishment, immediate nourishment, is our siblinghood and our environment. And Sangha life elsewhere is very difficult. They couldn't find it because their environment, their living place is very close to the city, and they have to be in touch with the world outside to earn a living, and they don't have a surrounding environment as a Sangha with the energy and with the same mind of practice. So it's very difficult to keep ourselves pure in order to continue our practice. But in Plum Village Sangha, it's not like that. Here you do have a wonderful environment. You do have a community of people who are walking the same path, practicing the precepts, and everybody is very nice and kind. Anybody who is not kind and nice in here, it is ourselves. It's not other people. Don't think that the person next to you causing difficulty for you. If somebody makes you feel tired and sad and difficult, it is yourself, not somebody else. The third thing is in our environment here, we do have a very stable activity schedule established by our own teacher Thai, which is nourishing, and it depending on our level of laziness or diligence to nourish us or to absorb it. So apart from having bodhicitta, we should have time. We have the ability to nourish ourselves. If we can use 100 reasons, and if you don't want to nourish yourself, if there are 100,000 conditions out there to nourish you, you can't receive it. So the elements of bodhicitta, if it's really wonderful, it's very good, then we know how to nourish ourselves. Nobody can do that for you. Nobody can help you to flourish and make progress in your practice. So this is the second thing, that we need to build a foundation for a strong monastic life. And the third thing is, if you understand the Dharma well, if you observe the daily life, you can see that there's unpredictable things, there's something displeasing, things that you are waiting to attack us, and so on. And actually the saving of our time is not that much. That means we don't have a lot of time to spend. Then we need to learn the Dhamma, and it comes. We have to count day by day, not by month or by year. And if we do have the enough understanding about the Dhamma, we learn the Dhamma and have the understanding, then how you apply the Dhamma is very easy. And that's when your mind and body will be transformed. In the past, maybe you had a lot of difficulties in finding out a great teacher to take refuge in. And today you are able to find such a teacher, and you find a Sangha, a community, and you can find the teachings that shines to help you to practice. Then if you see that, you don't allow your days and your time to be a void, and you don't allow the sadness or the troubles to overtake you. So when we learn enough, and certainly the way you apply your practice will be easy. and the learning and the applying, not something fall down from the heaven. No elder brother or sister can help you to realize this. It is your own effort, your own diligence to help you to get that, to learn and to put things into practice. Mm. Our ancestors have a very good metaphor. They say the warrior fighting in the battlefield, facing the dangers, can die any moment. But comparing to a practitioner of meditation, it's nowhere to compare, because when people in the battlefield facing the danger, they still have a chance to win or to become a civil again, civil citizen again. But as a meditation practitioner, every day is the time to practice. The somebody who is on the boat going out to the ocean, they are facing the pirates. They still can have a moment, or somebody to go there to look for treasures. They still have time to rest. But for a practitioner of meditation, we don't have time to rest. Every moment we live in mindfulness, we live with the Dharma. There's no time to rest, no time to loosen up the rein, no time for resting. And somebody going into the deep forest to look for sandalwood, and they can lose their life because of the tiger and so on. And sometimes they cannot return, but that person still can have the ability, a chance to find the sandalwood, to sell and become a rich person. They can rest. But with the practitioner of meditation, there's no chance. There's no time, no chance for them to relax. And our ancestors just want to implant in our mind that every day, every moment is very precious in the life of a practitioner. So we need to treasure and really really put down to the practice. The time goes by. There are things that we cannot ever restore. One is the time. We cannot fight back the time, and the energy. Once the energy is out, we cannot get it back. So what we harvest is not about getting the wisdom or getting the realization in the future or anything like that, but it is if we practice loosely, then we will.
The practice doesn't mean that we just practice like a police, like the way so seriously. Like this practice means that the way we sit, the way we stand, we laugh, whatever our movement is, our mind dwell in the present moment, in the concentration, and we are protected by the energy of mindfulness, and that is the deep success of the practice. So, dear Sangha, is there not many people who could have the opportunity to taste the Dharma like you? When you start entering the path of practice, you already have the chance to know the practice, to dwell in the present moment. You are trained to apply the mindfulness in your daily life, the way you walk, you stand, you offer the tea, you welcome the lay friends to come and practice with us. All your movements in the daily life, is led, is shined by the energy of mindfulness. So you are trained to observe the body in the body. So and when you have that capacity, then you know how to preserve your energy. You don't let your energy leaking. You don't let the energy of anxiety, of fear, or restlessness that leak your energy. The second point is that those people are protected by the energy of mindfulness. That's why they don't need to make a lot of effort. And outside people try to prove themselves, but as a practitioner, we don't need to do that. If we are protected by energy of mindfulness, they don't need to prove, they don't need to shine. Even in the darkness, the energy shines. Even their presence in a crowd, they don't need to prove their presence, but their presence shines naturally. It's because the energy of mindfulness, it, it shines. That peaceful energy, it creates a kind of a zone of energy. So if as a true practitioner, if you put yourself into the practice, then your way of living, it shines naturally and it becomes a kind of a virtue of non-action. In fact, when we all come here and practice together, one day, if we can listen to a Dharma talk, maybe once in a day or twice a day, or a session of Dharma sharing. But what people come here can benefit is not mainly from the Dharma talks or Dharma sharing, but what they get interact is the energy, of mindfulness generated in your daily life. Not everyone needs to give the talk, the Dharma talk. Not everyone needs to sit on this stage, talk like Venerable Tinh. You just need to interact with people, and the most precious thing is the way when we interact with each other, embody the quality of practice, embody the energy of mindfulness. And at that moment, you are a Dharma teacher. You don't need a lamp to become a Dharma teacher. In fact, if we delve in the practice, you are a Dharma teacher. And then everyone who comes to Plum Village can enjoy that, can benefit from your own energy of practice. So when by your way of practice in daily life, it shine in your way of living. And every year we grow up in the Dharma. We become a Dharma teacher. We become a refuge for many people who come to take refuge in the community. Taking refuge here doesn't mean that you need to become a Dharma teacher, a well-known Dharma teacher who can teach eloquently to thousands of people. No, you don't need to become like that. You need to be just a normal people living quietly in the community. And when the conditions become sufficient, then people can feel, some people they come and they feel grateful to the community, not because that the monks and nuns offer beautiful Dharma talk, but just your way of living in mindfulness, the way the monastics interact with them with a very loving energy, and that open their heart. So sometimes the Dharma talks people may forget, but little interaction with people that make have a deep impression in people's heart when they come to the community. So when you study and you apply what you study in your practice, and you put what you learn and you in your daily life, then you can the way you interact with people, the way you speak to people, embody your energy of practice. And this is the foundation, a very strong foundation as a practitioner. If we don't have a strong foundation of practice, then we practice we cannot generate joy. Because if you don't taste the joy in the studying, in the practice, then there is a void in your mind. There's an emptiness in your mind. Your mind look outward. So at that moment, we need to look back to see that is it our foundation of practice is solid enough. And when we strengthen the solid foundation of practice, then you can offer that to people who come naturally and without any effort. So this is the third thing that I want to share for you to contemplate.
And so the last thing I would like to share with you, so that you can contemplate together with especially the OI members. As you know, in the 60s, Thầy already wrote a book called Modernization of Buddhism, and Thầy suggested two things. The first thing is to engage, and the second one is the OI, Order of Interbeing, and in Vietnamese it's called Tiếp Hiện, and the deep meaning, I save it for the elder brothers and sisters to explain, but I would like to share a little bit for our lay friends to understand. In the way Thầy expressed, is the order of interbeing is the order. It's like a connection between monastics and lay, and you are playing the role of somebody to bring the Dharma into the world and to help the Buddha Dharma to flourish in the way you live your life. So it doesn't mean that you receive the lamb and that's it, or you put the brown robe of an OI member on and that's the end. But you do have the responsibility that you receive the Buddha Dharma, the teachings, and equip you with the teachings and make the teachings become part of your life. And first of all, to generate joy and happiness in yourself, in your life, has a certain level of joy and happiness in terms of serving others, and that is a foundation of your practicing career. And it's not only to live beautifully and kind with your neighbors, but the beginning thing is to have it to ourselves, to be kind to ourselves and the people around you. And if an OI member is not able to make her life or their life happy, it is not right. And if they are not able to bring happiness and help our family, our beloveds next to us, or the Sangha and friends around us, it is a mistake. The third thing is, if you live in the society, that is very different than your own culture or the views or political views, and you are not able to accept them and live in harmony with them, so that you can use your knowledge and understanding of your practice to have a dialogue with them and help them to also have happiness. Then it is something you're not actually doing to in terms of your role as order of interbeing. So sharing the Buddha Dhammas to other people is the first thing that is on the surface. This is not from me. This is from Thầy in the book Modernization of Buddhism. The second thing is each OI member, you do have the responsibility to have retreat with the monastics 3 months per year. Is that too much to ask? No. The life of a monastic, we spend the whole life to learn the Dharma. It's not enough. And if you are lay people, you are living in the world out there. Every day you are facing with earning a living, facing with the political up and downs and insecurity and so on. And you do have other responsibility at home, in the society. Then you will need to consolidate your roots of spirituality. That is something very essential. Without it, it's like something very lack that it can ruin your life as a practitioner. So that's why we need to come and be with the monastics for a length of time to enrich your spiritual life. 3 months per year. In other words, like a machine, you spend the battery 9 months per year. You need to spend 3 months to recharge your battery. And for the OI community in the West, you are probably able to do it. It seems like every summer you spend time in Plum Village to do it, or in the center of Plum Village to do it. But for Vietnamese OI members, I don't know if you are able to do it or not. You will need to see it for yourself. But I feel that we actually inherit a lot of things from Thai, but I don't know how much we can receive it. Most OI members are in the 70s. The young people, we don't have many young people as OI. And applying that into our daily life is something maybe we need to consolidate a bit more. This is for the Vietnamese OIs. Sometimes we are quite rigid in the formality. We are not able to be flexible like our teacher Thai. And if you can understand this, you can apply what you have learned from Thai, the practices, the Dharma doors, in a very flexible way, in the way we share this with other people. I want to share this with you because I want you to know that you have a very big role in helping the Dharma to spread, so that we can repay the gratitude to Thai who led us on the way. With the monastics, I would like to share with you something. The path we walk is not kind of stopping here. Our ancestors say that all success is just a comma. It's not a full stop. Like the text is still to be continued, or the novel, the book is still continued. So our success is just like a comma, so that we can continue. So that means we should be aware of this. The society never stops. Today there is a society issue. Tomorrow society will have another issue for us to deal with. Society never stops changing. It's a very simple example. I just read on the news. I heard an actress or actor, French actress or actor, proclaim that they want to get back the Statue of Liberty from the U.S. because they said that in the U.S. there's no longer liberty. So having the fence along the front, the border, and so on, and President of the U.S. came here and make a statement to say, don't worry about the invasion of the Russian or Ukraine, but you should be worried about people who migrated, who are refugees to seek asylum in your country. So it becomes conflicts, a struggle between Europe and the US. And now the debate is which country, which side is more liberal than the others. So I want you to look at this. We Plum Village Sangha and the activities and the life of the Plum Village never stop. Yesterday we are facing about the gender diversity. Today we are facing the changes in the society. Plum Village has to practice in such a way so that we can have the insight, so that we can extend our hands, our arms to help people in the light of the Dharma. So we have to be like in the valley to scream so that people who could stand on the top of the hill can hear us, and whatever people standing on the top of the hill talking down to us here, we should hear them. And if we don't have the maturity high enough or good enough, then we cannot lead people, we cannot guide people to help them. Ordinary people, they will have a lot of understanding and so on. We have to hone our understanding so that we can lead them, we can guide them. Things that can form the foundation and quality of the monastics. We need to know that somebody who is leaving the community to disrobe and cause some sadness in certain people in the Sangha, in the elder brothers and sisters. But you have to know that in the monastic circle, when we don't have enough merit, when our aspiration is not strong enough, and we don't nourish our body's chitta enough, and our insight is not developing, that person will not be able to complete their life as a monastic. Simple as that. And they will be so we will need to develop our mindfulness concentration, and we have the insight. If we ever stop in this career, we will not be able to guide people. If we give a Dharma talk that is not good enough and so on, it's okay. And if you are a lay person, it's okay. But if you are a monastic, you have to practice like that. No, is that too much? But it has to be like that. So let's come to something closer to us. On the basis of learning the Buddha, studying the Buddha Dharma. Don't think that you've learned with Thai from the elder brothers and sisters, and having a very wonderful way of Plum Village, organizing and so on. That is enough. We cannot stop there. If we can repay the gratitude to the Buddha, the patriarchs, and to Thai and the Sangha, we need to learn more than what we have already done. In the learning circle, in the studying circle of Buddhism, there's a lot of negativities. Sometimes they learn just to get the degree, or like sometimes there's people who buy the degree, but there are people who are very, very high in their level of study and learning and knowledge. And if you say that you belong to the Plum Village community, you are a disciple of a great teacher like that, then you cannot be like ignorant. So you will need to know that on the basis of the original teachings of the Buddha. Thầy transmitted the teaching to people. But if you look into Thai's teachings, the livable, the living tradition of meditation, you will see that Thai has taught us many kinds of meditation, many traditions, and the foundation of Plum Village tradition. You don't teach people chanting. Mm, we don't teach them psychology. We don't teach them just to generate some happiness in terms of enjoying normal pleasures. But we teach people how to apply the teachings into daily life, the original teachings of the Buddha, so that they can deal with their afflictions, generating happiness and joy in their body and mind. That is just a very small part of the original teaching of the Buddha, the meditation. And that is the first conditions to help people to come to Buddhism. But Thai's view and Thai's insight is not just that much. In order to teach that much, Thầy had to go through meditations from the original teachings, from the Mahayana tradition, and so on and so forth. And Thầy actually cooked it into a kind of food that can meet the needs of people in this contemporary society, so that they can live happily amongst in the world. We don't have any reasons to stop there. Successful in organizing something is just a comma. It's not a full stop. We will need to go forward, no matter how wonderful, how good you are in knowledge or in practice or organizing, or you do have some PhD degrees. It's not a full stop. It has to be the conditions to open a horizon. And then you will ask, where is the horizon to stop? No, there's no point of stop, no stopping point. So it is opening to the eternity, to eternity. And so I come back to a very important point. The meditation tradition of Buddhism is very rich, and Thai works just help us to come back to take refuge in meditation. And Thai use very simple thing is Như Lai Thiền, means the Tathagata meditation, or the original meditation, original teachings based on the Nikaya. If you want to understand the Nikaya, the Southern transmission, we have to penetrate into the original teachings of the Buddha. And first of all is the four establishment of mindfulness meditation based on that teaching. And you have to go against the flow of Mahayana teachings, just to go back to the original teachings of meditation, breathing in and breathing out. And don't think breathing in and breathing out is the end. It's just a beginning. And then you have to go backward more to the whole length of history of meditation and so on that Thầy has taught us in the series of talks, the living tradition of meditation. So let's say if you guide people breathing in, I know I'm breathing in, breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. This kind of thing, even you are a beginner, you know it. You learn by heart by it. And the Dharma teachers also know it. But you know that this is a very foundation that help you to go into vipassana in certain enlightenment meditation. One time the Zen master cried and said, I feel very unsettled. Dear teacher, please give me some teachings. In other words, I am really I'm very agitated. I am disappointed. I'm in despair. I have depression. So it goes from light to deep level of deep depression. Can you please help me to relieve it, to take the depression out of me? Can you alleviate it for me? So if you look into it, you will see that all the afflictions, all the sufferings in this world, all the conflicts, they are not outside countless levels of mental formations. And the last thing is people will commit suicide if they are thất tình. Thất tình means that they are disappointed in life. The brothers and sisters, maybe they don't know this one. Disappointed in love. Thất tình. If somebody are like that, and if you come to them and you tell them breathing in and breathing out and observe your breathing, maybe that medication is a bit too light, because this is a very, very serious sickness, and you just give a very light dosage of flu, maybe a flu tablet. It will not cure. So the Bodhidharma told his disciple, you show me your agitated mind. Show me your agitated mind and I will help you. Unpeaceful mind. And I will help you. So that means he helped his disciple to come back to themselves. And that is a koan. A wonderful koan is we come back to ourselves through in and out breath. What do you see? Anything different? Looking into the breath, you will feel that we cannot see the image of our breath. There's no smell of the breath. We cannot measure how much that breath is by yourself. And then you can see that the sadness, the joy, or whatever depression, they are just the guests coming in and coming out. It's not us. We are the owner of the house. They are just the guests. And if we see it that way, the observer, the person who see it, the owner of the house, still can remain very still. No problem, just observing. We are not coming in and out, just that sickness and so on. Like we are standing and seeing the train pulling many carriages across. We are not on the train. It doesn't have anything to do with us. So the meditation helps us to see that we are the mindfulness energy to observe what's happening going by. First thing is the breath, easy to observe, and then worries, agitation, and so on and so forth, for sorrows, anything, the sadness going through and disappear. What is left? What is left is the observer. Who is that observer? That observer is the mindfulness and the mind of observing. And if you keep doing it, you will see that things are just going by. And anything, any notion, even that the notion of a king or of a politician, it's just the flow of thought. And we will become a very clear and tranquil kind of state of mind, just observing. And then you are dwelling in the mind of observing. There's a word for that. Dwelling in the true person, because the true person is our true nature. It's the nature of the light. And that is the prajna paramita. It is the stillness of our mind. That is nirvana. There are thousands of names that we can describe that state of mind. And if your ability or your capacity of learning and applying the what you learn and you have the and you practice well, then you will touch that state of mind. It is the most sacred space, and you have the peace. There's no joy or sadness or anything that can actually pull you away. There's no thinking that can carry you away, because that clarity of state of mind can sweep away all of these things. In Nikaya, the Buddha used the word tuệ tri. Tuệ tri is the clear understanding, the state of mind of understanding and clarity. And Thầy used the word dwelling in the present moment. So you can imagine that our path of meditation is not simple. Just that's enough that but you need to have the ability to combine all things from the original teachings through the Mahayana teachings and so on and so forth. You have to have that understanding through your learning, and then you have that state of mind, and then you can feel that you can stand on the top of the mountain or the hill, and you can share the things teachings. Otherwise you are just the person who stand down in the valley and scream up to the people who are standing up at the hilltop. So there are just a few things that I like to share with you this morning. In conclusion, I like to say that each of us will we have the great gift. This is this body, this mind, this ability to think. We are equal in that regard. And in the Catholic culture, we say God give us the gift. Everybody is the same. We have the body and the mind. But filling up the content inside, that is up to each individual. If we fill that up with the sadness, with love, with jealousy, with anger, and so on, and then you will be submerged under misery. But if you fill up the mind and the body with the openness, with your kindness, with the responsibility to generate joy and happiness for yourself and offer to people around you, you will become a wonderful gift to offer to people around you and anywhere. If you left the life as a lay person and you offer your life to the tridual as a monastic, it seems that we are the same. We still have one sangati. We have the length of life more or less the same. If we can fill up the content of our body and mind with the Dharma, with joy, with peace through our practice, then we will enrich ourselves. We will make our life become like a poem. And if you are not skillful, then living as a monastic, we will not be like that, but we cause suffering to the people around us. So the same gift, the mind and the body, we have the same, but it's up to each of us. Secondly, practicing and experiencing our spiritual life is wonderful, but it's also it's challenging. So the first thing is the beauty, the truth, and the wholesome. It is a precious, a sacred kind of life, and it's really wonderful. But when you will be in the end, anyway, you will see that the non-self, the joy and everything that I contemplate, you will see that those things we already have already. Because when we arrive into the world, there's a non-self already, and we have to practice so hard in order to see that we are of a non-self nature. But actually, it's already there. Why we have to work so hard to have it? It's already there. So don't think practicing is something like a very it's like a hard labor. Sometimes practicing is something very easy and simple. It's not something we have to put a lot of work in. So what what do we say? It's just simple and easy because we haven't achieved anything yet. But living as you live right now is already free. Free when you're walking. You're happy when you're sitting and eating. Wherever, whenever you do, whatever you do, you enjoy life in every moment. So that is a very basic step of a monastic. We already achieve the poetic kind of flavor of meditation. Imagine like myself, I went to the exam for the citizenship. We should be tense up, but we were just smiling and say, okay, if we pass, it's okay. If we fail, it's okay too. So you live every day in a poetic way. You don't have to run around looking for anything, achieving anything. Right now, right here, you can enjoy these wonderful conditions offered to you. So I would like to conclude with those two things. Uh, at the end, I would like to pay respect to Thầy and in gratitude to Thầy, in gratitude to everybody who listened to me today. Thank you.
Namo Buddha Shakyamuni, dear respected Thầy, dear Venerable, dear Sangha. Deep in our hearts are filled with gratitude. The teachings from the Venerable really shine our mind and helping us to see more clearly the path before us. And during the time of the Great Ordination Ceremony, we all feel deep gratitude and joy in our heart. When you reminded us about your first time in Plum Village and getting in touch with the beauty of the countryside in France, it reminds us the early Great Ordination ceremonies in Plum Village. At that time, there were just a few monastics practicing in a remote area, and Thầy, our teacher, organized the first Great Ordination ceremonies. The ordinees are only a few people, but our teacher invited more than 20 venerable monks and nuns to transmit the precepts to his students. And our teacher established the procedure to transmit the precepts. And during more than 22 years, they continue to renew, to revise the procedure of transmitting the precepts. And in this great precept ordination, even though our teacher is not physically here with us in the historical dimension, but we can feel clearly Thay's presence, especially through the presence of the venerable monks and nuns. We felt so warm in our heart. Because we can feel the deep love between Thay and the venerable monks and nuns. And this great ordination happened with the full support of the venerable monks and nuns, that like you did offer in the early days. We can feel your immense love and forgiveness, even though we make a lot of unskillfulness and mistakes, but we could feel your immense love and support. So that we feel very happy in our heart when we could have a great ordination ceremony like that. Personally, for me, after 11 years, this is the first time I could enjoy again the great ordination ceremony in Plum Village. And we feel encouraged and inspired on the path of practice. I wish that every 2 years we continue to organize the great precept ordination in Plum Village. And that is the way we continue Thay, our teacher, in different way. And we also feel grateful to the presence of our senior brothers and sisters. And with time, our senior brothers and sisters have grown on the path, and now they are participating in the council of transmitting the precepts. And this, I know that Thay is smiling to see this. And I also feel grateful to my younger brothers and sisters who wholeheartedly offer their service. Each of us offer our energy, our contribution to the organization of the great precept, and also the volunteers who help cooking, and the many lay friends who come and support. Come back here, like come back to your home, with a lot of love towards Thay and the three jewels. And each of us here is contributing to the success of this great precept ordination. There is no words that could express our deep gratitude towards the venerable monks and nuns and every one of us in this hall. We would like to offer 3 touching of the earth to express our gratitude towards the venerable monks and nuns.